Hi guys, welcome to today's nibble. What we'll be looking at today is tables in Word, in particular inserting, deleting and changing the shading color of rows in an existing table. Again, what sort of situation does this cover? It covers a sort of situation where you might be working on a pre-existing document or a pre-existing template where the tables are already in place, and what you have to do is actually modify and adjust the tables, and you find that they're just too small, so you might need to add rows or delete rows or even change the color of the heading row. So that's the sort of situation we're going to deal with. Now there is a prerequisite. It's important that you are able to reveal and hide the formatting marks in Word. If you're not familiar with that, then please go check out my YouTube at this particular address, which is just again only a 3 to 4 minute grab on how to do that. Okay, so let's go to a document which I prepared earlier, and quite obviously there's a table on the document, the sort of situation you might face, pre-existing table, and you actually have to extend it. Well, first things first, as I've said in my prior videos, I don't really like this sort of view. I like to add the formatting marks with Word. Typically, remember from the video, you can access it and turn these things on from the File tab and the File Options menu selection. I'm going to use my special tool and turn on those marks, and immediately we see that this particular table, although it wasn't apparent, actually has 4 columns and a number of rows. And what's really good, of course, is you can actually see the rows because you can see the row boundaries now. Before, of course, you could only see those parts of the table which the person who laid out the table has actually already set up with coloured or with row lines. So I like always to work with this. Now the first sort of situation you'd like to arise is if you need to insert a new row in a table. Well, you will use the insert after row function. So we'll pop our cursor into an existing row such as this. If we go up to the table tools element that has now become available because we've got our cursor in a table, and go not to design but to the layout tab, we see we have a number of options available, one of which is insert above, one of which is insert below. These are associated with the rows. If I click on insert below, what will happen is a row will be inserted below this point where I actually have the current row selected. Selection can either be like this or just with your cursor in the row. Let's insert a row below, and there you have it. Not particularly difficult to say? Yeah, it's not. You can also delete the row the same way. Select the row either like this or by selecting the entire row, go to the delete option and delete the row. It will delete the selected row. That causes no trouble. What can sometimes cause trouble is if you want to insert a row below a row that already has a line on it. So let's do exactly the same thing we did before. We'll insert below, and we've got a clinging line. A line has appeared where we don't want it to be, because our layout that we're looking for has a little section, and in this case, let's have a little look at it, that is clear of lines. That's what was required for this document, yet I've added a new row and I've got a line that I don't want. So how do I get rid of that? What you do in this particular case, just select all of this section, go to the layout button, no, got it wrong again, go to the design button, go to the borders area, select the inside horizontal border. Okay, that will cover all of the inside lines in this selection. Click it and you'll find, first off, it'll actually insert a bunch of lines. In this particular case, the bunch of lines just being an extra one. But if you click it again, it'll go away. This function here toggles, that is, it turns lines on, turns lines off, turns lines on, turns lines off. I can in fact select this entire area, turn the lines on, turn the lines off, and they all go. Let's just put it back the way the designer had intended this to be. the first particular instance. So you can see that's how we got rid of an errant line. Let's just do this again. Go to Layout, Insert Below, got a line that we don't want. You can just select those two if you wish. Go to Design, click on Borders, which incidentally will draw a line half a point in width of that particular type, and using a pen color of that, but that's not for today. So click it on, line goes away, line comes back. That's the simplest way of dealing with this. The same thing happens if, for example, you insert above. Select, could be all of these if you really want to, just to be consistent for the entire section. Go to Design, click, they all come on, click, they all go off. Okay, so we've covered how to insert a row, we've covered how to delete a row. Okay, we've covered how to get rid of clinging lines. Let's just do one more. Let's just change the color of a particular row. We've got a row here which is a subsection row of the table. If I select the entire row and go up to shading, this shading will be applied to the entire row. Okay, now of course if I didn't like that, I could always go up here and undo it, or apply the shading again and apply a different color. Okay, alright, well that ends today's grab on handling certain aspects of rows in columns. Thank you very much. See you next time.